Hey YouTube, SlingBlade98 here. This is going to be a quick video about why I think you should give country a chance. I've highlighted a couple reasons why I think people don't, and obviously I've highlighted some reasons why I think they should, or else what would be the point of making this video. Okay, so first of all, I think one of the reasons that people don't give country a chance is they might not remember how many great songwriters there were before it became a pop genre in the 80s. You know, you had people like the Judds and Reba McEntire who gave way to the Taylor Swifts and the Toby Keiths of today, who are meaningless corporate cash-ins of artists. You know what I mean? So they might not remember how great it really was decades ago with Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson and Kris Kristofferson and Waylon Jennings. I'll list a couple of people in the description box for you guys to check out if you're not really into country at all, or if you might be young and not remember past the pop period. It's not necessarily your fault, but if you're young, you should definitely check out some of the older stuff like Hank Williams and Jimmie Rodgers, because regardless of age, some of the stuff is really classic. And you know, being a teenager, if you do watch my videos, this stuff can help get you through your depression a lot better than bands like Nickelback or Linkin Park. I mean, those bands make you want to spray paint your hair and cut your wrists and basically turn into an annoying whiny chode. So another reason why I think people might blacklist country is they think that after 9/11 it's only, you know, for annoying flag-beating chodes like Toby Keith, and they think that every country artist is a big racist patriotic pig who's just singing about how great America is and how we're to get those tariffs and, you know, and we don't like your kind around here, boy, you know, that kind of thing. And that's really not true. Most country artists just sing about personal issues. And well, I'll address why I think country should be listened to and the merit it has in the next section. But the final thing is, I think that some young people, as I said, just really can't get beyond the cowboy ads and the accent, and they might think that corporate sellouts like Keith Urban, Taylor Swift, the Zac Brown Band, and Daughtry are all that country has to offer them. They might not know how far it really goes back. And I think everyone knows Bob Dylan, even if you're young. They might not know that there's quite a few songwriters who actually are as good as Bob Dylan in country, and they're actually better singers too. Because Bob Dylan, frankly, he has kind of an annoying voice, even though he's the best songwriter in history, you know? So reasons why you should give it a chance. For one, 20s country music is awesome, and this stuff is on YouTube. It's not in a museum somewhere. This stuff is things you can click on just as easily as things from the 2000s, you know? Country's music is comprised of hundreds of easily located tracks here on YouTube, and there's little more than a white version of the blues being sung here. So it's not Aryan music, it's just music. Like, you know, Robert Johnson or Blind Lemon Jefferson, same as Jimmie Rodgers or some of the other country artists of the time. It's just a white version of the blues, and that's really where country music came from. To say it's just marketed at white people is really... It's kind of like saying that rap should only be listened to by gangster black people. It's just not true. Because much like rap gets blacklisted by white people for being violent and crude and crass and stuff, country often, I think, may be blacklisted by people of color just for being, you know, angry white guy music. And it's not true. I mean, if you look at it, country music actually came probably from African American music, and really everything good in music comes from black music. Jazz, rhythm and blues, rap is awesome. Rock comes from blues, which comes from slave chants, I think. You know, the sadness, and that evolved into the early guitar music, I think. Okay, the next point on my list. It's not all about artists' love of the South. A lot of country music isn't just about how much they love country music and how great honky-tonk bars are and cowboy hats and shit like that. I mean, unlike country of the last 30 years, the vast majority of country from the 20s through the 70s, that's 50 years there. You would not imagine how much good songs there are in that period. It's about the same as stuff as rock that they talk about. Personal problems such as drugs and alcohol, you know, family issues, your girlfriend, stuff like that. Love, triumph, tragedy, and pain. It's about the human condition, and a lot of it is really personal. While much of rock sounds synthetic, manufactured, or impersonal, country music is a very organic and sincere genre because most singers write their own songs instead of just covering the standards, you know? They actually talk about their own personal issues for the most part. There are some covers in country, but they're only when they feel it's really apropos to their own personal legend, to their own story. The biggest reason to listen to country is the lyrics, though. Today's mainstream music has little to no meaningful words. In this genre, there are a number of songwriters who rival Bob Dylan. who is commonly acknowledged to be the best songwriter ever, bar none, and I will not argue that. However, I will say that several country artists, such as Townes Van Zandt, who is perhaps the best of them all, rival Bob Dylan with their vivid imagery, and they challenge your cognitive skills with their poetic lyrics, and they're just as impressive as Bob Dylan's. You know, the last point I have to make is the issue of consistency. Rock is plagued by one-hit wonders and bands with only a few listenable songs. For every Jimi Hendrix or Creedence Clearwater, there are 20 to 40 bands you could count their good work on your fingers. 4 to 10 good songs, maybe at the most. Bands like Blue Oyster Cult or Bad Company, who are very excellent, but at the same time are very shallow. This is country's other big advantage. Since it's stripped down and simple, the majority of artists exceed the standard of consistency set by rock by leaps and bounds. Artists such as Hank Williams don't have a bad track, and he's far from the only one. Every member of the Highwaymen, seriously, they're as consistent as Creedence Clearwater or Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd, and some even more so. So, believe me, I've searched to find bad tracks out of curiosity, and you won't find any. A lot of the time it's just, guitar and piano, so you'll hear a lot of the same stuff you heard in early rock and roll. Give country music a chance. It is the most personal and sincere genre of music. The words are meaningful and eloquent, though it comes in a simpler package. If you like Bob Dylan or folk music, you will enjoy the artists I've listed in the description box. They too are often accompanied by piano or guitar arrangements you'd be familiar with from early rock and roll, if you like Elvis or Jerry Lee Lewis, for instance. How could you not? Not all country is marketed towards 15-year-old girls and guys who beat off to Fox News segments about border control and a Confederate flag shirt and a cowboy hat. It's marketed towards you and me because it's stuff about depression and stuff about personal issues. Stuff about the human condition as a whole is a term I used earlier. And country is not just angry white guy music, just like rap is not angry black guy music. So I've given rap a chance, and I realized that Tupac, for instance, and Immortal Technique are some of the best songwriters of all time, in the top 10. But by the same token, I think that a lot of people of color should get beyond the image of, the racist, bigoted white guy and realize that people like Johnny Cash and Jimmie Rodgers had no vested interest in violating civil rights or in, perpetrating these awful patriotic lies that were fed by the media through their lowbrow music. A lot of this is just stuff about their personal issues, just like any other songs you'd listen to. And it has a unique sound. It's organic and it sounds personal. And it's something you should really try if you haven't, at least once. Give it a chance. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing you'll love it, like, right off the bat. But once you can adjust yourself to the relatively stripped down package that country comes in, you'll find that it is actually pretty meaningful. And if you enjoy Bob Dylan or folk artists like Joan Baez, who are pretty much just a voice and a guitar, then you'll definitely enjoy people like Hank Williams and Johnny Cash, who don't lack for singing skills, but really have some of the deepest things to say in all of music. And that's what I have to say about country. So thank you for listening. Slingblade 98 out. I love you guys. Bye.